So here's what no one's going to tell you. She is not going to initiate as long as you need her to initiate. And now I know this may sound counteractive, but I want you to stick to the end of this video so you can understand exactly why this issue you're currently seeing, which is you're not feeling desired, you're not feeling heard, you're having sit-down communications with a therapist or a counselor, or maybe sitting down and then just discussing and expressing your needs, doesn't end up anywhere, is always leading you to this outcome, okay? Now, why can I help you? Now, I've worked with hundreds of men in regards to this specific matter, getting themselves back to who they used to be despite the relationship. I need you to understand that here are a few things that happen before this thing happens, and my personal story can 100% potentially relate to yourself as well. So I want to start off by saying that in my previous relationships, I always felt that what I wanted was not as much as what they wanted. And that is the biggest myth ever. But I wasn't aware of this one thing that changes everything. You see, men and women are wired slightly differently. Women need safety in order for desire to be incorporated. Without safety, and I'm not talking about a home or physical safety or the fact that everything's taken care of. No, I'm talking about the fact that they feel comfortable. Safety and comfort need to coexist for desire to be able to thrive. And the best way for you to explain and understand this is, notice how the most what's the word I'm looking for? Notice how the most convicted humans or the most convicted people tend to allow other people to feel comfortable around them. Why? Because their conviction as a byproduct brings safety. If you're not convicted about who you are, what you stand for, what you believe, I need you to understand that that is crack number one, right? I used to question myself every single time. Why is it that despite me doing everything I needed to do, being the good guy, I still needed to ask for it? It's embarrassing, right? Like, imagine you are flying them out on holiday, you are taking them out on dates, you are spending your hard-earned money day by day doing everything you think is required for them to feel comfortable and safe and knowing that they don't have to worry about anything, and you miss conviction. Everything you've done is meaningless. Every single bit of it. And I'm telling you this because I've been on both fronts. I've been the guy that provided everything and without conviction was able to get nothing. And I've been the guy that done nothing, but because I had conviction, had everything. Right? A lot of people, we misconstrue certain things because we allow the symptoms to define the outcome. It's almost like you're going to the doctor, or let's not say the doctor. Imagine you're going to get your car fixed. You're going to the mechanic, you're driving the car, and it feels a bit bubbly, right? And you're assuming that it's something to do with a gas, maybe it's the tension or whatever the case is, right? But it's a mechanic that takes you through the process and helps you understand that it's not the tension, it's to do with the fact that the engine oil hasn't been changed, which triggered the oil going inside the engine, and then the engine all of a sudden being at the verge of explosion, which is what's causing the bubbling. They have the same symptoms, but they have a complete different cause. Ooh, come on, let's go, baby. What I'm trying to say to you eventually is your symptoms are being misdiagnosed because you're not understanding the actual true cause. There's a sentence that comes to mind as I'm saying this that I took note of. Bear with me. See, we live in a society and generation that teaches men how to copy the symptoms, right? So now that you heard conviction, you say, course, okay, what do I need to do? How do I do it? I get this issue a lot of times, right? I get people DMing me saying, what do I say to my missus? This is the situation, what do I say? I just need you to tell me how to fix the symptom. This isn't normally happening, by the way. This is just a one-off, right? I messed up, I know I messed up, but I need to know the right words to say so that she can feel, bang, comfortable. And the key word is feel. If you're trying to fix a feeling with a simple message, the feeling isn't going to be fixed. A feeling can only be fixed by another feeling that either cancels it out or replaces it, or it's energetic enough for the conversation to take a different direction. This is why it doesn't matter what message you send, because as you're sending that message, you're also sending a feeling. And if you don't know what feeling you're sending, then you're probably sending the same one that you've been sending that is causing you the same issue. I want you to stick with this one, because the issue is when you look at the consequence and you judge the consequence, i.e. in this case of scenario, she doesn't initiate sex. She doesn't initiate it. She doesn't want nothing to do with it. Clearly she doesn't want me. Forget it, I'm out. You allow the consequence to deter you from actually figuring out, why does this keep repeating? I remember when so this was my story, right? So I started off, typical guy, not really looking after my body, quite insecure in terms of how I actually was with women. I was confident, don't get me wrong, because I started boss preaching from a young age, so I was very outspoken. But when it came to relationships, I wasn't as secure, especially in the early stages where it's almost like I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to earn the badge, you are a great boyfriend, right? So I'll do these things regularly. I'll show up, I'll do this, get the flowers, do this. Stuff that to me meant nothing, right? But to them meant everything. And I'll do it and I'll show up consistently, thinking that there was like this invisible tank that once was filled up would give me everything I wanted. But for some reason, year one, I'm pouring in. Year two, I'm pouring in. And then I'm still hit with, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So I'm still getting criticized. I'm like, hold on a minute. I'm doing everything. What do you mean? I'm doing everything you told me that I was told to do. Why am I not getting the outcome? Why are you even criticizing me for what I'm trying to do here? And a lot of men are stuck in that loop. Okay? I'm going to get to the drawing very, very quickly, but I want you to understand something. The question you need to start asking yourself is, what choice kept creating that consequence? Asking the right questions gets you the right answers. The reason why you're stuck in the potential same position is because you're asking the wrong questions. Example, for anyone watching this video, is how. Stop asking how, start asking who is going to fix that. And if you don't know who that person is, find someone that's already fixed them and ask them how they done it. This is why when I work with people, I'm not trying to give you a solution, because I can give you I can show you, okay, I'll give you a full script on what to say and how to do it. If the person showing up doesn't have the conviction, the emotional transfer balance to be able to settle the debt or settle the transaction in a way that actually cancels out the anxiety or the lack of safety that they feel, it doesn't matter what you do. The emotion is still going to be there. All right. So this is you right now, and this is where she's at. And every time you push and carry expectation with it, not only you're pushing something heavy, but it will never get to desire. It's not wired to. Okay? I want you to imagine there's like an elastic plate hooked. Right? It's hooked. So, and it's an illusion. It's almost like because you expect it, you think you're going to get it. I need to tell you that expectations repels outcomes. I'm going to say this again. Expectations repels the desired outcomes unless you're doing it from a position of abundance. Why? Simple. When you now expect it, think of anything you've ever expected. I expect. What is the alternative message that's also being sent? Why do you expect something that you have? You don't expect things you don't have. Example, do you expect someone to show you respect if they constantly show you respect? No, you just know you're going to get it. You don't even think about it, right? When you focus on what to expect, what does it say about that very thing you're focusing on? That you don't have it. And on top of it, expectation. Expectation. Right? Like I always say, when you subtract expectation versus the reality, whatever gap is left is called suffering. So the reason why expectation will never give you desire is because you're indirectly sending the message that you are suffering, especially when this is what you expected and this is what you're getting. The bigger the gap, the heavier the pull. Right? So what is then going to get desire? Because we've spoken about what the problem is. Well, what's going to get desire is then number one, conviction, like I said. The moment I understood the power of conviction in not just who I am, what I stand for, what I believe in, and what I'm not willing to bargain with, everything shifted. Because I was no longer dependent on them delivering on my expectations. Let me show you something. Listen, expectations are not bad, but you need to turn them into a preference that you're going to be fine with, whether you have it or you don't. Because in other words, your expectation doesn't need to happen. It's a desire, something that you can have, want. Needing stuff is an illusion. If you're a Christian, you're a child of God. If you're a Buddhist, you're Krishna. If you're a Muslim, you're Allah. Right? Point is, you have access to abundance regardless of where you come from. The question is, do you want to open the door or keep it closed? And that's in all areas, by the way. Because you came with nothing and you're going to leave with nothing. So the same way, the same person has 24 hours, so do you. Abundance is simply saying that you have access to it. The question is, do you want to open the door and enter it? And sometimes, in order for you to access that, you need someone to push you to the uncomfortable position where your mind is now facing the death of your old version and then lapse into the new space and becomes that person you need to be. This is why your £10,000, your £15,000 are going to be the hardest thing ever, because you're not fighting to actually make the money, you're fighting the belief that's telling you that that's not supposed to happen. That's why anything that's done first is the hardest, and after that it gets easier. Right? It's because you are overcoming a boundary or an expectation of an identity that you had. In order for you to break that, your brain is simply wired to say hell freaking no. So you're not fighting the actual thing. The actual thing isn't hard. It's you overcoming the security system that your brain is installed in actually getting you there. That's crazy hard. And I'm telling you this, when I done it, my first 10,000, I was working till 12 a.m. The next, I wasn't working. Someone else was doing the work for me. Right. So the reason why desire is going to shift is because you have created a stable zone, okay, that sends the message that I'm good. And this now starts to pull, because I'm good equals safety. See, it's not looks, it's not what car they drive, it's not the amount of money they make. It's even when it comes to all those things, the reason why they feel like they can do or they can step out of whatever the case is because whatever they have in their brain says, this person makes me feel safe. This person makes me feel comfortable in who I am and what I want to become. The moment you make someone, whether it's your partner, feel comfortable, use what I've just said with discretion, they now automatically can start opening the door called desire. Desire isn't something you work towards, it's something that is pulled towards you. Never forget that. You cannot force desire. The moment you force desire, it repels. It's an art. It's something that you're not pulling, it's genuinely attracted to you, so it comes towards you. So what can you do to create that desire? You stay sharp, you stay convicted. You stay passionate about the things you're passionate about. You stay fresh. Of course, you want to look externally pleasing. You don't want to smell like a dog and expect desire. Right? You wear your oud. Where do you wear your oud? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the pressure points that you wear it at. You don't rub it. So depending on what it is, if it's oil, you can rub it. If it's not, you just leave it and let your skin absorb it. It stays for longer. You can put it in your... Sometimes what I used to do is, and I still do sometimes, but you can put in your cream, right? You mix the cream with the oud so that when you finish showering, the cream now has the same smell of the oud. You smell fresh, you look fresh, you look after this, you look after yourself, you dress properly, you look after your physique, right? You don't have to have top of the tier physique, but you just need to have your shoulders being wide enough so that your stomach shouldn't be wider than your shoulders, right? Unless you've got a medical condition or something. If you want to look attractive, biologically speaking, your shoulders being broad signal that you are an attractive candidate that makes them feel safe. You need to build an ecosystem that sends the message that I am safe. And it's not because you are not harmful. Safety doesn't mean that you're not dangerous. Safety means you're in control of danger. Okay? Safety doesn't mean that you're a doormat. Safety means that the person can relax. Why is Dubai so attractive despite everything that's happened? Still, safety. You want to be a physical Dubai, right? I'm not talking about the glamour, I'm talking about the safety aspect. The fact that people can feel free, they don't have to worry about certain things like they have to do in other countries. You want the nervous system to recognize you as a safe zone they can now allow you to be part or come into. Am I making sense? Once that happens, you now allow her to start initiating. And you don't initiate because you want her to. She initiates because she now feels safe. I'm telling you now, if you haven't done this, it's probably going to be a massive shift in your freaking life. And if you want more personal help, you want to understand how to change the course. Because a lot of times, in order for us to get to safety, we need to understand how to make ourselves feel safe. And this is where the 3R calibration comes in. I show you exactly the blockages, the things that are stopping you from making yourself feel safe, so that you don't have to worry about things like this anymore, right? Now, in regards to what happens moving forward, once you understand this is the mechanism, you start to treat them like a cat does, right? The cat can come in and out, you're not forced, you're okay. If she wants to initiate, great. If she doesn't, I'm going to be fine. Because I'm safe, I'm good, I'm full, right? I don't need you to fill me up. The key was need. You don't need to need anything. You can want things. You can be intentional about things. You can be passionate about things, but not from need, from want, and from abundance. Now, if this video has served you, let me know in the comments that it's been helpful. Let me know any questions you have. And if you're interested in working with me on a one-to-one basis, the link to do that is either in the description or the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.